Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, Coops Fitness. If you're new here, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel right away. So in today's video, what I want to do is, instead of talking a lot about training splits and different exercise variations, what I want to do this time is I want to talk a little bit more and go a little bit more in depth about intensity, and I want to go a little bit more in depth about different progressions or different areas in which you can train, different levels of intensity that you can train in. And so what I mean by that is you don't necessarily have to keep it the same intensity every day. If you're making it a rest day, you can make it an active rest day where it's more like active recovery and not so much slacking off, taking a day off. So that's one thing. But also, what you have to keep in mind is, while you're taking those days, what are you doing? What are you considering? Heavy days are one thing, and that's very popular, right? And so a lot of people, especially if they're uneducated, they don't really think about the different types of workout days that you can have with regards to intensity, with regards to how hard you're pushing it, how hard you're pushing your muscles, right? How much you're recovering, what you're putting your joints through. That's always very important. So here's the deal. So you've got your really heavy days, right? Your big squats, your big deadlifts, your big bench presses, maybe a little bit of weighted pull-ups or some barbell rows or any row variation, or maybe the pull down if you're just a beginner. Okay, so you have your main, like your basic exercises, and of course OHP, overhead press, your main sort of multi-joint lifts. So those all are going to be on your heavy days, your max effort days, and some of them are also going to be on your moderate days as well, or even some of your lighter days, right? Depending on how you program it, which I'll get to that in a second. So you've got your max effort heavy lifting days. You're going to be working in either the 1 to 6 rep range or the 6 to 12 rep range, depending on if your goal is strength or hypertrophy, right? So strength is really low reps, right? Because you're trying to max how much you can lift. Then there's hypertrophy, which is very similar to strength. You're using strength for hypertrophy because the vehicle to build muscle is going to be progressively adding strength, right? Progressively adding weight. You're going to be up in the weight, but not so much to the point where you can only do 1 to 6 reps, right? So hypertrophy is more only upping the weight to the point where you still can do high reps to get a blood pump so that your muscles can build over time, so that you can keep adding new tissue like a bodybuilder would, right? So that's essentially the behind the scenes of bodybuilding content, right? So that's what you're looking at. And then you're looking at more the strength side, on the other hand, which is more powerlifting, right? 1 to 4 reps, 1 to 6 reps, or like most of the time for extreme powerlifters, 1 rep, right? Really pushing the weight. So those are your choices for those heavy days, right? And then there's the medium days. Now, the medium days can be a little bit more focused on greasing the groove, which means you're focusing on blood flow, pumping blood into the muscles, getting grease in the groove, right? Protecting the joints by strengthening and toning the muscles and pumping blood in the muscles around the joints. That's always really important, and you want to throw one of those days into your routine once in a while, even if you don't do it super regularly. Better yet, have it a part of your weekly routine. Take a day off. Take a day off from the heavy squats and the crushing deadlifting and take a day off from all that spinal flexion, and maybe focus on core stability, focus on mobility, which actually brings me to the next stage, which is like the bottom low intensity day, right? So which is a step beneath a moderate intensity day. It's like a low intensity day where you're only focusing on moderate blood flow in the muscles, mobility, things like that, right? So I'm talking about like dynamic stretching. I'm talking about, moderate core stability, like really low intense kind of stuff where you're not lifting super heavy. You're more like taking a day off, but you're not resting. You're not you're still grinding, you're still getting work done, you're still putting work in for yourself. And so that's really important, and that's a really great idea because it allows you to still get your work done every single day to feel good by the end of it while still getting adequate recovery in. So basically, guys, those are your three basic points, your three basic pointers to work off of, right? Your big max effort days, your really heavy days, then your moderate days, right? And then your low intensity days, right? And that's depending on what else you do. If you play a team sport, if you're pretty banged up from the previous day, it really all just depends on how sore you are, how banged up you are, how active you really are, your medical history. It all depends on, like, there's so many factors that go into it. So those are just some more options for you to take into consideration, maybe help you better your training. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe for daily content, and we'll see you next time.